Wait.
Right now at 5, it's an alert day. Snow and rain is locking onto the area. The First Warn Weather Team is on it. Plus, the possible state vaccine plan that doesn't involve parents.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for News 8 Now at 5. I'm Emily Brown. Ken is off tonight. Well, it's an alert day. The area is bracing for a wintry mix of snow and rain.
Yeah, but alert day conditions going on right now with snow, rain. We got that coming through the area currently. So the alert day goes through tomorrow morning for rain, snow, even freezing rain, a little bit of that, and then even wind on the backside. So travel this evening commute, even the Wednesday morning commute is going to be impacted. Right now, we've had snow going on for quite a while for Eau Claire. Just started for Winona. La Crosse has not seen it, but notice the temperatures, upper 20s to near 30. They have been rising, so this will be a heavier wet snow than what we've had used to. Overall, there's your radar right now. We kind of zoom in. You can see temperatures upper 20s, low 30s. Overall, the conditions further south you go are okay right now. We haven't seen quite much of the precipitation, but Eau Claire, you can see there's Menominee Road getting snow covered at this time. The rates are picking up. That is probably where it's going to be the worst conditions here this evening. And as we go further southeast, you can see some activity through the I-90 corridor. So later on, we'll kind of break all this information down, what's going to go on, how much, when it's going to get out of here, and then the bitterly cold temperatures that will follow. That'll come up a bit later.
All right, thank you, Greg. Well, the weather could become a real mess maker on the roads. Meteorologist Nicole Skaliski is in the Storm Runner. How's it looking out there, Nicole?
Yeah, Emily, we've been tracking snow in Eau Claire for just around an hour now. Right now, it's looking like that light and fluffy snow, so we're not really seeing any of the heavier clusters of snowflakes quite yet, but we are seeing some heavier bands of snow eventually moving into the area now in the next couple minutes with another batch of heavier stuff following behind now as it moves just across the Mississippi into Wisconsin out of the Twin Cities area now. So again, it's fairly light and fluffy now. It looks almost more like a snow globe. The roads are just showing trace amounts of snowfall on it, so just the typical traction issues. Thankfully, the roadways aren't too bad as of yet, but again, we do have that heavier wet snow on the way. For now, again, the winds aren't too bad, so it's pretty manageable, but in the next hour or so we should see those snow rates start to increase, especially for areas along I-94 and northward. So we'll be here tracking that for the rest of the evening. But with that, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Okay, stay safe out there. Thank you, Nicole. Well, from the roads to the sidewalks, News 8 Now's Jadius McGee is live in La Crosse. Jadius, how you feeling out there?
Yeah, right now, not really much of anything really going on right now. If you take a look behind me, the streets and sidewalks are clear as of right now for the most part, but the snow is expected to pick up later tonight. When the mix starts to come down, drivers are asked to slow down, give themselves extra stopping distance, and take it easy if they're planning on heading out tonight. Now, we will have more snow coverage as the night goes on, but until then, back to you, Emily.
All right, thank you, JDS. La Crosse declaring a snow emergency. That means alternate side parking is in effect. It starts at midnight and ends Friday at 6 p.m. Vehicles can only park on the side of the street with addresses that correspond with that day's date. And a reminder, in between newscasts, you can use the First Warn Weather app to track conditions on your block. The Village of Holmen is celebrating La Crosse County's first certified sites, 2 pre-qualified properties in its newest business park. Certified sites are business or industrial properties pre-qualified as development ready, with key technical studies like environmental, geotechnical, and zoning reviews already completed. Officials say this reduces project delays and speeds up development, giving communities a competitive edge for attracting business investment.
This is a faster track, if you will, because it has gone through all these processes. There's nothing that will surprise the Village of Holmen. There should be nothing that surprises the developer, because everybody has said, we all know that this is a business park or industrial park. We know it's going to be coming in here.
These 2 certified sites join 14 others across Wisconsin. The Chippewa Valley Health Cooperative getting a big donation, $750,000. It's from the Rutledge Charities and Casper Foundation. The money is intended to support the reopening of the former St. Joseph's Hospital as a full-service hospital, now named Chippewa Valley Cooperative Hospital. It expects to reopen by summer of 2026. Driftless Humane Society unveiling a new spay and neuter surgery suite. It offers new state-of-the-art pre-operation surgery and recovery space. Once a month, the suite will host vets for high-volume operations, offering low-cost surgeries in the region.
There is a national veterinarian shortage, and getting access to low-cost spay and neuter and veterinary care for shelters and rescues can be a challenge. And so this is really creating a safety net and providing even more spays and neuters and vet care for our animals.
The Humane Society is also raising funds for phase 2 of the surgery space. It's looking to raise $50,000 for equipment and further expansion of services. Well, the push is on to pass a bill that could push up the state's vaccine rates. News 8 Now's Grace Monk joins us to explain more. Grace.
Democratic lawmakers are introducing 2 bills to address the rising number of children without vaccines in Wisconsin. According to the Wisconsin DHS, 86.4% of students met the minimum vaccine requirements during the 2024-25 school year. That's about a 3% decrease from the year before. Anyone under the age of 18 in Wisconsin needs parental consent to get vaccines. One of the bills wants to change that age to 16.
If a 16 or 17-year-old feels strongly that they want to be protected from dangerous diseases, there's no reason that our laws should get in the way of them doing so.
The other bill would end the state's personal conviction waiver for childhood vaccines. Wisconsin currently allows parents to exempt their children from vaccines for medical, religious, and personal reasons. Wisconsin DHS data shows that 5.8% of students had personal conviction vaccine waivers in the 2024-25 school year. Sue Beck says the goal is to prevent infectious disease outbreaks.
When you start having large numbers of kids in our classrooms who haven't received vaccines for measles and mumps and rubella, or for polio, you're putting every child, and particularly those most medically vulnerable children, at risk.
The bills were previously introduced in 2023, but didn't make it very far. Sue Beck says they're currently looking for other lawmakers to co-sponsor the bills. It will most likely head to a House committee after that. In the newsroom, Grace Monk, News 8 Now.
Thank you, Grace. Happening around the state.
We're going to break the back window. She's going to crawl out.
A scary scene in Milwaukee, an SUV hanging off a wall on I-794. Sheriffs broke the back window and the driver crawled out to safety. The SUV was hit when a sedan swerved and hit her while avoiding another car. Governor Tony Evers signing a new bill. It expands on the state's Move Over law. Currently, the law only applies to emergency vehicles and certain vehicles with flashing lights. Now, any vehicle with flashing or hazard lights would be included. The Wisconsin kayaker who faked his death is out of jail. Jail records show that Ryan Borgwart was released last week. Police say he faked his disappearance to meet up with a woman in Europe. Well, Packers rematch with the Bears in Chicago getting expensive. On the secondary market, the average ticket price is $480, up $60 from the week before. The game is December 20th in prime time. The Pack beat the Bears at Lambeau 28-21 on Sunday. Still to come, a new ruling in the case against Jeffrey Epstein. The files a judge just ordered to be released. Plus, President Trump back on the road to talk economy. His message to consumers.
Tomorrow, starting at 5 a.m., we're tracking snow, plus your morning commute, new concerns over cell phones and kids, and the holiday gifts moms really want. I'll see you starting at 5 a.m.
A so-called atmospheric river hitting the Pacific Northwest. Here's drone video out of Washington. Major flooding hitting parts of the state and a driver trying to plow through with his pickup, but quickly giving up. The state could see rain until Thursday. President Trump is taking his economic message on the road. He's speaking in Pennsylvania. This will be the president's first rally in 5 months. CBS's Erica Brown has more.
President Trump is expected to address the key issue of affordability, a growing concern for Americans, at a rally Tuesday in Pennsylvania. The president's trip comes as many Americans face economic uncertainties and struggle with higher prices. At the White House Monday, Trump unveiled a $12 billion aid package for farmers impacted by his tariff policy and placed blame on the Biden administration for higher prices.
We brought prices way down from what it was. We inherited high prices. We inherited the biggest inflation in the history of our country. That means prices going up, and we brought it down very substantially.
CBS News polling shows most Americans disapprove of the president's handling of the economy, but the White House maintains inflation has gone down and Americans will see lower prices.
Affordability has two components. There's inflation, and then there's real incomes. Real incomes are up about 1%. And what we're not going to do is say that Americans don't know what they're feeling. We've been working on it every day.
The president says consumers will soon feel some relief with lower prices for vehicles after a rollback of fuel efficiency standards and deals to cut prices on certain prescription drugs. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
In New York, a federal judge ordering the unsealing of grand jury materials tied to Ghislaine Maxwell. She's serving a 20-year prison term for sex crimes involving underage girls and Jeffrey Epstein. Congress in November passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It mandated the disclosure of investigative files related to Epstein. We'll have more news ahead, but first.
Yeah, we got snow tonight, maybe rain, but then we got the windy conditions for Wednesday, and then it gets bitterly cold towards the end of the week. So we'll time all that out coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
You expect more, so thank you for watching News 8 Now.
Well, it's time for Minnesota Department of Transportation's 6th annual Name a Snowplow. You can submit winter-themed snowplow name ideas through their website. Submissions are limited to 30 characters with no vulgar language or politically inspired names. Previous winners include We're Off to See the Blizzard and Don't You Snow. Submissions are accepted through December 19th. Well, I think Wintry Mess might be a good name for the snowplow. Those seem to be the operative words today. Greg?
Yeah, it's definitely a messy system too. And we talked about, you heard about the atmospheric river that comes across for the Pacific. That stream of moisture is all coming all the way across. It's tied with the system. So that's why it's milder, warmer out, and the snow is actually going to be heavy too. More moisture to work with. So that's what the change of snow type we've had. We haven't had a lot of this type of snow. Most of it's been more on the drier side. But this is going to be a story tonight. It's going to be wet snow. Could be rain, freezing rain. The freezing rain window is very narrow and probably south of I-90. It won't last long. Then we could change the rain a little bit for areas south of I-90 before we go back to snow too. If you're further north of I-90, it's likely going to stay all snow the entire time. It's heavy, wet, and the good news is the temperatures are going to be fairly close to freezing or above, so that will help some roads, especially on the well-traveled ones. This is the mountains too. It's really probably not close to 9 up here. It's probably 6 to 7-ish as you get further north of Eau Claire. Really, most of it will fall during the evening when the rates could get over an inch. Otherwise, it really tapers off further south you go. 1 to 3 probably in La Crosse. This has calmed up a little bit as the system has trended a little bit further south. Hence, we don't have much of the freezing rain possibilities we had maybe thought yesterday. As you look at the advisories, a lot of them out right now. The winter storm warnings, obviously, where you're going to have the heavier snowfall right now, and the rates this evening could be quite heavy. Further south, it's either going to be snow, some freezing rain, some mix, and then we'll have deal with some wind too for west of the river, which could blow around the snow, depending if we can blow it around, because with this warm temps, it will happen to form a little bit of a crust layer on the snow, which does help to prevent maybe the winds blowing it around. But that's still a possibility Wednesday morning, and that's why there's advisories out to the west, even after the precipitation ends going on right now. If we look overall at the conditions, Eau Claire, you still got the snow coming down. It's been low as under a mile. It's probably around a mile right now. Winona and La Crosse are still pretty much some light snow, but nothing too much that's really impacting travel. Notice the temperatures too. They have come up and they continue to rise. So if you look at that snow right now, Most of the heavy is just to the west and south La Crosse. This is going to be tracking up into Eau Claire area. Further south, it's lighter snow, but you can see there's been a little mix. I know Rochester's seen it. Mason City's seen a little bit of freezing rain too. That is going to be what's going to be coming along and south of I-90 over the next 3 to 4 hours. Given that possibility, we might see some of that. There's your visibility. You know, 1 mile in Eau Claire right now, that's still light snow. Moderate, you need to get down to about a half, but you can see Red Wing is starting to get closer to a half mile, so it is starting to pick up in that direction too. And there's your amounts right now. We're getting them up pretty good. Bigger picture shows there's your system to the west. We still got it to come through. The low is going to track right pretty much overhead through the area. So that's why we're going to get the winds on the backside of the system. As we track it out here pretty close, notice the temperatures. Here's that little bit of wintry mix coming through the area. South of I-90 between about 7 to maybe 9. We might have a brief break in the area west of I-94 down west of the river about 10 to midnight before then the snow comes back, wraps around the system, and this is what's going to be coming in the morning along with the wind. Is snow's going to come back in the picture through the morning commute. It'll probably be wrapping up, but we'll have light snow going on and a really strong wind, and the temperatures come back down. So we could have icy spots even if you don't have snow with any of the moisture kind of refreezing. So it's still going to be a messy morning commute. It just depends how bad it's going to be. As we go through tomorrow, snow a little bit tapers off. The wind will be the big story as we go on. As we look at the ice tracker too, you can see there's going to be some ice going on. The bigger story going into the weekend is the bitterly cold temperatures. If we see 10 teens, even 20 belows going into Friday night through Sunday, and the wind chills could easily get close to 30 below. So expect some cold headlines going into that part of the forecast too. So busy day through tonight, and then it gets cold. But if you notice towards the end of the 8-day, above freezing almost.
Yeah, but our poor heater bills until then, right?
It's gonna suffer.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Coming up next, the holiday wrapping paper that has the internet buzzing.
Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
Prebiotic soda brand Olipop has an unusual holiday campaign. It's giving away soda-scented wrapping paper. They're inspired by its crisp apple, vintage cola, and ginger ale flavors. Thousands randomly selected fans will receive a roll and a 12-pack of the corresponding pop. You can enter daily at drinkolipop.com/holidayhelper. I think it's just good waste of soda right there. But enter if that tickles your fancy. All right, Greg has a final look at your forecast right after this.
Definitely going to be messy tonight. Travel impacts tonight and for the morning commute too. Morning commute will have more wind. Further north you go, more snow. The further south you go, less snow, but still a chance to see some mixed precipitation. We are warming up tonight, but then we're going to start falling
tomorrow. Then we're falling down. Roller coaster of a week.
Pretty much.
All right, thanks for joining us at 5. We'll see you right back here at 6.